I did not realize I was actually going to get under the truck today.
Well, that's where half the work goes. Hey guys, welcome back to Professional Weekenders YouTube channel. Today we are in our garage and we are going to continue our DIY series and change the oil in this Toyota Tundra. So if you guys want to learn how to change the oil in your own Toyota Tundra, save yourself a little bit of money, then stick around and find out. So let's go. Alright guys, so these are the tools you're going to need to complete this job. You need an oil catch can, highly recommended, high quality one of those. Then you're going to need your oil filter wrench. I sell these basically in any auto parts store. This one's specific for a Toyota with the three prongs on one side and one on the other. I believe it works for most Asian or European cars. You need a 14mm wrench to get the drain plug out at the bottom of the oil pan. You'll need the correct oil filter and oil. In this case, I use the SDP 1029.5 XL. The XL is for extended life. If you have less than 70,000 miles, you can do it without the XL. I use the Mobile One full synthetic. In this case, it's a high mileage 0W20 on that. You also need a 1/4 inch ratchet that can be used on the end of your oil filter. So that gets used on the end of your oil filter wrench. So if you have the TRD like I do, you'll need a 12mm socket in order to get the bolts off of the skid plate, and also those are held on with 3 Phillips screws, so you may need a Phillips and a screwdriver. You can use an impact driver or impact wrench if that makes things a little bit easier for you. Otherwise, you can do it all with hand tools. It's not very difficult.
And then cardboard.
Yeah, some cardboard and paper towels to help clean up. I almost forgot to use a funnel to help put the engine oil in there. Alright, so what we're going to do first is, because this is a TRD off-road edition, it has the off-road plate underneath that's basically preventing our access to the engine and to the oil filter. If you don't have the TRD off-road, you don't have to worry about this bit. But first thing I got to do is remove that off-road skid plate in order to get to the oil drain pan and the filter. So we're going to do that first.
I did not realize I was actually going to get under the truck today.
Well, that's where half the work goes. Alright, so now here we are underneath the truck. You can see this is the skid plate. It covers up all of the engine, protects it. You know, if you're going off-road, this truck really never goes off-road.
It goes beaching.
It goes beaching, yeah. So basically we're going to start off. There are 3 Phillips head screws here. We're going to remove those that lock the plate into like this front bumper fascia. And then underneath in these larger holes, there are a couple bolts. There's a 13mm. So we're going to remove those as well. So I got my impact driver here. This may not be enough heft for the job. I may have to pull out the hand tools, but I should be able to do most of it. Even if I need to just loosen them with the hand tools, impact driver will make things go a little quicker. So I'm going to start with that, with removing these screws.
Why aren't we jacking this thing up?
Because I can fit underneath of it without jacking it up. That's the benefit of having a big truck. And one less step. So I can do the truck, I can do your Murano without jacking them up. The Camaro has to jack up.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can avoid jacking things up, I tend to go that route.
Okay. Now what are you doing?
I'm just adding an extension so I can get through the skid plate here.
Why is that so loud? Oh my gosh!
It's not up for the job. I thought so. It's the problem I've had in the past, so I'm gonna have to break out the hand ratchet to at least get them loosened. Get those loosened up, yeah. And see, once you get them loosened, then we can go back to using the impact driver. See how many of them I find here.
I'm getting a lot of armpit.
Yeah.
So now I understand why you never want to change the oil after we're done driving this thing, because your face is right there by the hot thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. Hi, elbow.
Now that we got it started, we can go back to the impact driver here and see if we can just get them the rest of the way out quickly. And the tricky thing about this is you have to kind of hold it up with your elbow as you go, otherwise it's going to fall right in your face.
How have we found that out?
Well, I didn't let it fall on my face, that's for sure. Now that it's loose, there should be 3 of these bolts, but for some reason I only got 2. I must have lost one somewhere.
How did we lose a bolt?
I don't know. Maybe it feels like there's still these ones here. Okay, here's 2 more. I got 4 bolts. I guess it's 5. There we go. Now this comes off. Make sure it's unclipped from the front fascia here. There we go. Alright.
What's that?
So this is the oil filter. It's a canister type. It's got this drain plug on it here. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But in the meantime, this is the oil pan. It's got a drain plug over here on this side. That would be the passenger side. So that's our next step, is we're going to pull that and put a drain plug, put a catch can underneath of it to catch all that oil. All right, so we got our oil pan here. We removed the drain plug at the bottom, and as well, and the vent tube at the top. To help
Is it a drain plug if it's on the top? It doesn't drain.
Well, it drains down into it.
Oh, okay.
There are different styles. Some of them are open. This is the style I prefer. This is a good one.
Where'd you get this?
I got this at Advanced Auto, and it was the most expensive one they have. And definitely, does more expensive mean more better? In this case, it does.
More better? More better, Mr. Cart?
That's a donut thing. So if you're watching this, you're probably a donut fan. If you're watching...
If you're a donut, collaborate.
Yeah. Does more expensive mean more better? It's their high-low term, yeah.
Okay.
And in this case, it does, absolutely. You get what you pay for.
I clearly don't want to donut media. Sorry, guys.
We've also got some scrap cardboard laid down that's going to help protect my garage floor here.
You're welcome, because I order all the things off Amazon.
Yeah, we always have scrap cardboard laying around, but you know, definitely helps in the cleanup process later. You know, so slide that underneath. We got our 14mm ratchet. That's going to be the drain plug. And we'll get this underneath the drain plug and then pull that out and let it drain. All right, there we go. We got it loosened. And we'll just spin it out. Make sure I'm gonna catch everything here. There you go.
Oh my gosh, why is your hand covered in oil?
It's always covered in oil.
Why don't we make it to where your hand isn't covered in oil?
Well, you can wear gloves if you want, but usually I just have some paper towels laying around. So the Toyota Tundra, whether you have the 4.6 liter like I do, or the bigger 5.7, they both have the same oil capacity. It's 7.8 quarts. So
7.8 quarts?
They're 7.9 quarts, actually. It's 7.9 quarts. So basically just buy 8 quarts of oil and you should be good. Alright, so while that's draining out underneath, it's going to drain a little bit faster, a little easier if you go ahead and take your cap off the top. Prevent suctioning. So we'll go ahead and do that.
Alright, so we're back under the, what do we call this thing? The truck. And we are putting the plug back in the thing, right?
Yeah. Alright, so the next step is to drain the oil from the filter and then replace the filter. So in the filter box you get the paper filter.
Okay.
It goes inside the cartridge. You get 2 O-rings. Those are replaced around the cartridge, and then this filter drain plug. So this is what's going to allow us to drain the oil from the filter cartridge before we remove it.
Okay.
So this is a little different. I think they do this on European and Asian cars. It's not an American thing. American cars, you typically just remove the entire filter and replace it. But on these European and Asian ones, you do have to drain the cartridge and replace the inside medium, and then reuse the outside. So a little bit different than if you've ever worked on like a Ford or a Chevy.
Okay.
Alright, so the way the filter works here is you have to have a special filter wrench to get that off, but there's a drain plug here at the bottom, which you just get off with your standard 1/4 inch ratchet attachment. So we get that loose. It shouldn't be out there too tight to begin with.
Is there gonna come out of there?
Yeah, a little bit comes out. But in order to get the rest of it, then once that's off, you insert the drain plug. You have to kind of push these up in there pretty hard. There it goes, and now you can see that oil's draining out of that. So give that a minute or two to drain, and then we'll remove the filter. All right, so this is our oil filter wrench adapter. They sell these at basically any auto parts store. I think it's a fairly common one. It's got 3 notches on one side and 1 notch on the other side. I think it's used for all the Toyotas. I think a number of other cars use the same one. So about $10 to pick them up at any auto parts store or Amazon. All right, so now that is done, basically we just click this to the side and that pops out. All right, the socket just fits right back on the wrench.
Is more oil gonna come out?
Yeah, a little bit more. Figure out which side's got the 3 and which guy's got the 1. And line it up in there.
So if you were to take this to like a Jiffy Lube or a place that does oil changes, how much would it cost you to get this done at like a shop?
Probably over $100.
And if you do it yourself, how much do you typically
50
spend?
to 60. Probably save about half of that. Yeah, I mean, it's 8 quarts of oil. It's not going to be cheap, especially using fully synthetic.
Yeah.
You know, so, all right. So here we have the oil filter. So there's the old one. It comes off. You can see the O-ring here at the bottom. And where's the other one go?
That's the red thing, right?
Yeah. Let's take a closer look at this. All right. So now that we have the oil filter housing off, you can see here's the one O-ring around the base. The other O-ring actually came off on the filter drain plug. So that goes around the bottom here, and then it's going to be inserted when you do the drain plug. So go ahead and replace those.
You keep saying drain plug. I think a drain plug's like what we have on the jet ski. Is it the same concept?
Yeah, it just drains. It's a plug that
drains. Okay.
Yeah, it drains. So it's the same thing. It's just like the oil pan has a drain plug, and with these European and Asian style cartridges, they have a drain plug as well. So we got our 2 O-rings here. Never install a dry gasket, so get some of that old lube.
Old oil.
Old oil, yeah. Put that on there. Make sure it's all lubed up. All right. So we'll put the main O-ring back on there.
And then you line that up to where the red line is on the housing, correct?
Yeah, well, just where we took the other one off of. Go ahead and put the smaller one on the bottom. Go ahead and put the drain plug back in there as well.
Hands are very shiny.
Yeah, it's good for your skin.
I doubt that. I doubt motor oil is good for your skin.
All right. We take the filter, stick it back on there as such, and now we just stick it back up in there.
So you don't have to get the oil filter wet with the old stuff?
Well, we already did, right? The gaskets.
Oh, the gaskets, that's what does it?
That's the important thing, yep.
Okay.
You don't have to soak the whole filter. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, well, hey, I don't know. That's why I'm asking questions.
Yeah. All right, so we're just insert that back up in there. All right, and grab our filter wrench. And again, you just want to tighten it a little bit. It doesn't need to be...
Like hand tight, not like...
Well, a little more than hand tight because we're using a wrench, but not super tight. Just kind of go until you feel a decent amount of resistance. There it goes. See, now it stops, so I'm going to stop right there. Alright, take that off, and then do the same with the drain plug as well. Let's give it up a little bit more. Right there. Alright. So that part is all done. We're going to move on to filling it up.
I feel like we're in church. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. And yes, for those of you who are asking, we do have train horns on our truck. However, we are going to upgrade those potentially in a future video.
So to make this easier, got a funnel. Make sure that's cleaned out. I don't want it sitting around the garage. I don't want any dirt or anything going down into the engine.
Well, how come we didn't put the thing on when we were down there?
What thing?
The scratch plate.
Oh, I just do it last.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, I like to make sure that the engine starts up and the oil level is correct and everything. So we'll put that in there. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier, you want 7.9 quarts.
What happens if you put 8 in it? You overfill it? It's not good?
Yeah, you overfill it and then you'll be burning oil.
Oh.
You'll be smoking.
And what kind of oil are we using?
So I'm using the Mobil 1 full synthetic high mileage. This truck's got 130,000 miles on it. So we got the high mileage, and where I buy this stuff at AutoZone, they usually have a deal with, you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 and you get an STP, extended life oil filter. So that's the one I use. Get a little bit of deal on it.
Okay.
But still, even with that, I think that's like 25 bucks, but by the time you add in, or $35, and then by the time you add in 3 more quarts, you know, you're closer to $60. The tax and everything. Alright, so there's 5 quarts.
2.9 to go.
And supposedly, with these things too, like a lot of people want to go with them like this, but if you go like over the side or really over this way, it's supposed to stop it from clogging up. So
Clogging up?
you know, like giving that.
Oh,
you know,
from like
supposed to-
splattering.
Yeah, this is like designed, you know, the way it's offset and everything to allow airflow. So it's, yeah.
Pro tip.
How smooth it pours that way.
Yeah, I probably would have done it the other way.
Yeah, most people do.
I didn't know.
Yeah, because I think human nature is right. You want to get it close to where you're going, but it's actually better to go this way.
Okay. Alright, so how do you measure 0.9 of a thing? Do you just pour out some for the homies? Like, how does that work?
Pour out some for the homies. Yeah, so actually, a big reason why I like the Mobil 1 is it comes with a little measuring gauge on the side there. So you can see if this is 1 quart all the way up here. Right, it's got 800, 600, 400, 200. I think it says 250 actually. So you kind of want to be, I guess this is the halfway mark, so that's about 100 milliliters. Right, because 1 quart is it's about 1,000 milliliters. It's close. It's 946 milliliters. So you want to be right around that bottom line.
Okay. So don't pour the whole thing in, but be like checking it. Because once it goes in, you really can't get it back out, right?
Well, you can. You just have to drain it out.
The whole thing?
Well, you have to try to drain just a little bit, right? Just back the.
Or you could just insert the dipstick and wipe your dipstick off about 1,000 times.
Yeah. See, so that's pretty close.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So we'll call it like that. Get the plug reinstalled.
And then you're going to check it on the dipstick, right?
Yep. Well, then we start the engine and then check it on the dipstick.
Okay. All right, cap back on. Where is the dipstick? It shows you how often we actually check our oil.
It's in there somewhere.
Okay. Wasn't that like a commercial? Don't be a dipstick looking for your dipstick or something like that. I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
It's a big yellow thing.
Big yellow thing.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh.
Okay. So we'll cut out the part where I'm looking for it.
Or we won't.
Alright, so there's the dipstick. It's right here.
Alright, cool. So it's on the exact opposite side from where we just put the oil in. So it's, by we, Lewis. It's right there. Little yellow guy. I don't know why it's not focusing on you. There you go. That thing right there.
Alright, so we'll start with the engine, let it run for a couple seconds, give it a few revs up to 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, and then we'll cut it off and check the engine level.
I can't hear you. I just hear engine.
Alright, so the point of that was give it a couple seconds to kind of get that oil moving through and make sure we don't have any warning lights about low oil or anything like that before we rev it and really get it pushing through the engine. So now we're going to grab our paper towel and check the oil level on our dipstick. So the dipstick's here, we're going to pull that out And we're going to wipe it off the first time. So that's clean. We'll stick it back in there. Count to 10 or so.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Alright, that's enough. Alright, we'll pull it out and check it. And you can see it's right there, right in the middle of those 2 dots. So exactly where it should be.
Okay. Cool.
Alright, so we're good. Alright, so now that that's done, we're just going to button it up and put that skid plate back on. It goes right back on the same way it came off. So nothing special there, and then we'll be all done.
Okay. Good job.
We want to clean up and wipe up any oil that you may have spilled. The oil from your drain pan, just take that back to the store where you bought your oil. They should be able to recycle it for free. So don't dump it down the drain. That's not good for the environment.
Oh my god, no, don't do that. It's horrible.
So take it back to be recycled. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, so here's your pro tips for changing your oil in your 2007 to 2022 Toyota Tundra V8. I'd say number 1 is make sure you have a high quality catch can. These ones that like I have that are fully covered and have the nice screw-on ends are going to make your life so much easier than some of the cheaper ones that I've used in the past. You know, the big round ones, where you lose the cap. Definitely the higher quality ones are well worth the extra couple bucks on that. And I would say number 2 is when you pour the oil, make sure that you actually put the spout on top or on the side. It's designed that way to allow better airflow and to prevent it from chugging. And it's going to reduce spill. Alright, and pro tip number 3 is it's better to work on a car that's not hot because you're going to be awfully close to that engine. So I'd recommend letting the car sit overnight and do it first thing in the morning. That's when I prefer to do it. So it's nice and cool and I don't have to worry about burning anything. Alright, and that's going to do it for us today. And we'll see you next weekend. Hey guys, welcome back to Professional Weekenders YouTube channel. Today we are in my garage and we're going to continue with our
Your garage?
We're in our garage?
Yeah, our. We own this together.
Alright, well, fine. Yeah, looks good, right?
No, you're some right on the very tip of your nose. And on the bridge of your nose too. You got it right here and right
You're
here.
recording this.
I am.
Well, I'm gonna go take a shower.
Are you?
Stick around. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be money saving.
A lot of commentary from the wife.
That too. What did we say number 3 was?
Don't drive the car before you change the oil. You're gonna burn yourself.
Okay. Under plate. It has a. What do they call it?
Maybe what we do is you make a list of all the tools you need and the right sizes, and you write them down.
Where's the fun in that?